Hello, welcome back to Herbie's Garage. If this is your first time, then welcome to my channel. It's been about 6 months since I've started this channel. I've posted something close to 40 videos, so I thought it'd be about time for an introduction. I've been working on trying to make some improvements here and there on different things, and hopefully make my content a little better, make it a little better visually to watch. So hopefully I'll continue to make improvements. As you can see, I added a sign to my wall, has Venom Motorsports on there. And the reason I have them on there is I bought the 2022 KPR 200 from them. And they're a good online dealer, they're good people, and it seems like they take care of you pretty well. And I plan on being a repeat customer. I'll probably be buying a new motorcycle from them in 2023. Today is like December the 11th, I think, 2022. So I want to see what their lineup is for next year on their new bikes, and I have one in mind that I want to get, and hopefully I can get it. And if I do, then I'll be doing some videos on that. Probably some riding videos and some maintenance videos. I do plan on buying a new GoPro next year. I tried out a GoPro 4. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on one and not work out well, so I bought a GoPro 4 and tried it, and it does pretty well. But I think a newer one will be better. So next year I may do a little bit more riding videos as well, but I'm going to be doing a lot of maintenance videos. So I plan on getting a new bike, and I may pick up a used one here or there. Who knows? Who knows what the year will bring? But anyway, let's get started in the introduction. I want to talk about a little bit my motorcycle journey. I don't really want to get too much involved in my history or anything like that so much as what it is related to motorcycles. So at 12 years old, I had the desire to get a bike. And I went to my parents and I said, would it be okay if I got one? Well, the answer was no. They thought it was too unsafe. So I kept pressing them, and asking, can I get a motorcycle? No. Can I get a motorcycle? No. Can I get a motorcycle? No. Well, over time, I guess I wore them down a little bit, and the response was, yes, under two conditions. Number one, you pay for it yourself. You get a job or earn some money, pay for it yourself. Number two, you buy a helmet and you always wear your helmet. If we catch you not wearing your helmet and riding your bike, we will take it away from you. So I thought, well, great, I could do that. So I bought a helmet. I bought a little 3.5 horsepower mini bike. I did get a paper route, which if you're not familiar with what a paper route was, it was like a canvas bag that you had to carry, and you went up to a drop-off location and they drop off a whole bundle of newspapers. You put them in your canvas bag and you carry the newspapers from house to house and drop them off. And I used to earn $60 a month doing that. So I saved up some money and bought me a little 3.5 horsepower mini bike. And Mom and Dad had like 3/4 of an acre, and I would ride it around and around in a circle. I had like an oval track because they had a tree on this end and a tree on this end, and I just rolled an oval track until I got the grass all the way down. There was nothing but dirt, and I did pretty good on that little bike, but it didn't last real long. And I ended up buying my first real motorcycle, which back then they didn't have the internet, they didn't have Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, or any of those kind of places to find something. So you either found it when you were driving around, it was out in their yard, or it was in the classified section of the newspaper, and that's where I found mine. And it was a old Honda 50, and I know you're thinking Honda 50, you're thinking of a little bike, and I was too, and I went to go look at it actually, and it turned out being something a little different. It had bigger front wheels and back wheels. It had a heel toe shifter. It had like a fairing in the front, a white fairing. It was a red bike, and it was a step through, kind of like a girl's bike. And my first reaction was, I don't know about this one. But the guy said, well, give it a shot and try it, because it'll do good on the street, and it is a trail bike too. So I thought, okay, I'll try it. And I rode it and fell in love with it, so I bought it. And then when I got it home and got down to the trails with my buddies to ride on the trails, they're kind of making fun of me. Oh, Herbie's got a girl's bike. And so, you know, I thought, well, okay. And anyway, we went on the trails, went riding, and you know, they had pretty nice bikes, all of them. They had, one had I think Billy had a SL70, Eric had a XR75, Tommy had a Elsinore 125, another guy had a Yamaha, I think. Another guy had a Benelli 65 two-stroke, and they had pretty decent bikes. But anyway, we went riding on the trail, and we're going down this trail. We come across this gully where you go down a little hill and you go up a big steep hill. So one by one, they'd go down and go up the hill, and they all made it to the top, and they're looking down, and they're like, come on, Herbie, let's see if you can do it. You know, I had to take the challenge. So up I went. I made it all the way up to the top. And, you know, being the daredevil that I am, fool, I thought, well, watch this, guys. So I turned around and I went down that big hill and up that little hill, and I went up in the air and heading straight for a tree. And anybody that's, any of you guys that's jumped motorcycles know that you want to hit on your back tire and land on your front and take the shock out of the bike when you hit. Well, whenever I went up in there, I was heading straight for that tree, and I'm doing everything I can to avoid hitting it. And boom, I landed flat on the ground, both wheels same time, it bottomed out, front wheel hit the tree. I went over the top of it, and you know, hit the ground, and I had to dust myself off a little bit, and got up and picked my bike up, and I noticed there's something wrong with it. It was sitting a lot lower in the middle than what it was whenever I brought it into the trails. So I got looking at it, and there's a round tube that comes down to the main frame on it, and down at the bottom down there it was broke. It was just holding together by just a little bit of metal. I mean, it was just like that. And so I had to push it home. It wouldn't even start. So here I am pushing this bike. I know it's probably less than a mile, but man, it seemed like it was about 50 miles. It took me forever to get that bike home. And when I got it home, I thought, man, I'm gonna get in trouble. Sure as shoot, I know I'm gonna get in trouble. Dad's gonna get mad at me. So whenever I wheeled it up, Dad was there, and what's the matter? I said, well, my bike broke. I didn't want to go into detail, and he didn't ask any questions. So he says, well, I think we could probably fix that. So I brought it up there at a carport, brought it up to the carport, and jacked it up to where it was nice and level again, and the tube met where it was supposed to, and you got the welder out and welded it up. I put a little paint on it, and away it went. And I drove that for the rest of the time. And my next bike, after I sold that one, I bought a Suzuki TS 125, and that really was my best dirt bike I had for quite a while. It was a nice two-stroke bike, and it had knobbies on it. And anyway, I was out riding in the woods one day, and it was right after a rain. I mean, I had heavy knobbies, and it was just full of mud, the knobbies were. So I was getting ready to go home, and I come out by a school, and there's asphalt all the way around the school. So I had a bright idea. I'm gonna get on this asphalt, and I'm going to, you know, go down the asphalt and throw all the asphalt out of my tires. So I get at the very beginning of it, and I take off going down the asphalt, you know, just going down, and mud just flipping everywhere off my tires. I'm thinking, great, I'm getting this mud off. Well, I was probably doing 45, 50 maybe at that point. And there's a corner, you know, going around the other side of the school. And, you know, I got around that corner and I leaned just a little bit. And you guessed it, I still had mud on the sides of the tire. And whoosh, my bike slid out from under me and I'm sliding down this asphalt and my head's just dragging across the asphalt. And when I got across all the way to the asphalt, I hit the grass, and again I had to pick myself up and brush myself off, and got over to my bike and picked it up. And then I got looking at my helmet, took it off, and I got looking at it because I was dragging it across the asphalt. And man, I mean, it was a groove all the way down the side of that helmet. And all I could think was, thank you, Mom and Dad, for instilling in me to wear that helmet, because man, oh man, that could have been bad. That was my one and only accident I could think of on a motorcycle. But I'm so thankful that that they pressured me to wear a helmet. That was a good decision. And that was 50 years ago, and I still wear helmets today. Every time I ride, I have a helmet on, so I'm appreciative of that. And I've had a lot of bikes over the years. I could go on and on about the bikes I've had, but I won't do that. I won't bore you, make this video last forever. But I'll just let you know, probably my favorite bike of all of them was probably a Honda V45 Magna. They had 3 generations of the Magna. They had I had one of the first generation, and it was an okay bike. It didn't have a whole lot of power. It was okay, but I didn't think a lot of it. But they had a second generation, which I wished I could have had one of those, the Super Magna, but I didn't. But the third generation, I had 2 of them, and they were both yellow. Great bikes, I loved them. The only negative about them was they had a small gas tank. They looked huge, but they didn't hold a lot. You'd only get about 100 miles before you had to fill up again. Other than that, man, I tell you what, that engine was something else. I mean, it was almost like a 2-stroke. You know, you get up to 5,000, 6,000 RPM, it's just like it just took off, and it was a runner. I really enjoyed riding that bike. And I'm not really a forward controls kind of guy. I don't like having my feet forward riding a motorcycle. I've had V-twins and had forward controls on them. I just didn't like them. But this Magna had what they called mid controls. It was kind of in between. And I like that. And I like the straight down riding position, kind of like on my Goldwing. And I like the backwards, kind of like on a sport bike, like on my KPR. So those all feel comfortable to me. So that's what I like. But anyway, on that Magna, you know, I did all of my maintenance on everything. And this was the first time that I thought, you know, I'm going to see how much a dealer would charge me, because I needed to take the carburetors out of it. And it had a V4, and the carburetor sat in the middle of them, squeezed in there. And so I called the dealer and I said, well, how much would it cost to have these carburetors taken out, cleaned, and put back in? They said it'd be about $500, and that's an estimate. Could be more. I'm like, oh boy, I don't really want to spend that much, so I'll do it myself. So I took it apart, you know, cleaned the carburetors and put it back in. Boy, that was a job. I mean, I was very intimidated doing it. To get them in there, I mean, I had to stuff them in. The boots were nice and hard. I probably should have bought new boots for it, but I had to put ratchet straps on it to pull the carburetor this way so it would come down far enough to go into the other boot. And it was a little bit of a struggle. But, you know, like anything in life, you know, I mean, sometimes lessons are hard, and that was a hard lesson. But I did learn from it, and you learn from things that you do. Sometimes, you know, you didn't have the internet like you do today, where YouTubers can help you with things, you know. You had a repair manual, you know, I'm used to using those, and you had your mom and dad, friends maybe, and that was about it. But YouTube's helped a lot as far as doing maintenance and things. So, but anyway, I've done all of my own maintenance, and that leads me up to today, where I have a 97 Honda GL 1500 Goldwing, and I have a 2022 KPR 200, and that's what all of my videos are about so far. And I do all of my own maintenance. I try to share it with you guys. I know there's some people who, you know, they don't have a lot of experience and like this kind of thing, or they may have a little bit, or may have a lot of experience. You may be a better mechanic than myself, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there. But I try to do my best, and I try to do things the right way as possible. you know, I have my shortcuts on certain things. You know, I like to do things that I think are going to be safe for me and for the bike. And anyway, I try to show these things to you, and I try to keep up on maintenance on everything. I'm kind of a maybe OCD on that because I really like to do that. You know, that's part of motorcycling for me. There's two things I really love about motorcycling. Number one is the riding part of it, of course. I love to be out and smell the fresh air and just see the sights. You know, there's things you see on a motorcycle that you don't see in a car, and just enjoy the outdoors and just going mile for mile. You can clear your head and just get out there and ride. I love that. But I also love working on them and keeping things up on them. You know, they're a lot of fun. I do enjoy it. So anyway, I plan on doing more videos. I plan on growing the channel as much as I can. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I plan on doing many more, and hopefully I'll get better at it. You know, I'm doing my best now, but hopefully I can make some more improvements and get better at it, and it'll be enjoyable for you to watch. So I appreciate your time, I appreciate you watching, and I'm very, very thankful for all you subscribers and all you viewers, and thank you for everything. And I appreciate it. Thanks. Thanks for watching.